ResortLoop.com is proud to be sponsored by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Joffrey's now offers coffee subscriptions. You can order a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription. You can choose from 3 collections, the Flavored Coffee Collection, the Roastmasters Collection, or the Disney Signature Coffee Collection. Each collection includes 3 bags per month. With the Joffrey's Coffee subscriptions, never run out of great coffee again. Learn more and order at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The body of water that you see to the right of our forward motion is the Seven Seas Lagoon. The Seven Seas Lagoon is a man-made creation that took 3 years and the removal of millions of cubic yards of earth to complete.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is the gateway to the magic, ResortLoop.com. If you caught us for the last show, you caught our college program show with Audrey Maxwell. I got her to call in again for another show. Audrey, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Long time no talk.
Right.
How have you been?
I've been good. Thank you.
Oh, just checking in on you. But you recently took a trip to Disney. I thought we should talk about it on the show. During everything going on, you decided, hey, I was a college program kid. They kicked me out. I'm going back.
Yep.
I don't know if you thought about it exactly that way, but I'm just kind of hyping the show. So how did you decide to go down to Disney during the reopening? I guess we could say.
Yeah. Pretty much I couldn't wait to get back. So once they announced when they were opening, I actually talked to a friend that I have down there, and I flew down. I went July 12th through the 18th, and so I stayed with her and went to the parks a few days, and it was just great.
So was this a solo trip then, or like a family trip?
It was me and my brother.
Oh, okay, great. So you knew going in that you were going to have to wear masks pretty much at all times in the park, correct?
Yes.
Before we get that far, how was where'd you decide to stay?
So I actually stayed at my friend's apartment for the majority of my trip, and then the last night we stayed at Pop Century.
Oh, had to get a little of that magic.
Yes.
Tell us about the trip. Like, how were things arriving at the park, going through the security? How'd the whole thing go for you?
Whenever I first got there, we didn't actually go to the park for a few days. We went to Disney Springs and a few different resorts, and going to Disney Springs was super easy. They just take your temperature whenever you're going in. It's a really fast process. They've got it down to be very efficient. And then as far as once we were in Disney Springs, everyone was wearing masks. I would say pretty good social distancing. We ate at a few different restaurants, and they were being, taking all the precautions, had, every other table seating and all that. And then like at the resorts, same thing. There were like hardly any people in the resorts, but definitely social distancing there. And then whenever we went to the parks, we went to Magic Kingdom first, and we drove there. So once we got out at the Ticket and Transportation Center, we had to go through like the tents to get our temperature taken, and that went super fast again. And then for security, they were telling you like, do you have any umbrellas, water bottle, like metal water bottles, anything like that could set off the alarm, to take those out. Otherwise, keep your bags on and walk through the metal detector like that. And then if the metal detector went off, they'd pull you to the side, and they would have you take the things out of your backpack or your bag or whatever, and they'd look at it and then kind of like look in your bag to make sure there's nothing else, so they weren't touching everybody's things, which was kind of neat. It was something I hadn't really thought about, but it was still a pretty quick process. And then we took the monorail from there, and they were doing like one party per like half of the monorail. I'm sure you've seen a picture of like the dividers in every monorail. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one party per like half. And then once we got to Magic Kingdom, they're not doing the fingerprints to scan into the park. And then after that, everyone's wearing their masks and kind of keeping their distance. But there's just hardly anyone there. So it's pretty easy.
Did you have any problem making reservations for when you wanted to go?
Like the park reservations?
The park reservations, yeah.
Yeah, so before we went to any park, we have to make a park pass reservation now with the new system, which we found pretty easy. I think that the system's pretty easy to navigate. We got into pretty much every park that we were wanting to right away. So no complaints with that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure how easy that was.
The only thing is that without a resort reservation right now, it's pretty hard to get into Hollywood Studios. So once we had like our reservation at Pop, like that night, it's no problem. It's pretty much any park, any day for resort guests, which is nice.
See, that's a good tip. Is that why you decided to stay the one night?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
So at the other parks, it was pretty much the same system. Scan your temperature and then go through security. At Animal Kingdom, it seemed really fast. The metal detectors, like, you kept everything on, walked straight through. It didn't really seem like they were pulling anyone, like, to the side. I don't know if they have different machines or it's just a coincidence, but all of it was pretty well done, in my opinion.
Okay, great. So the crowds were light everywhere you went for the most part in all the parks?
Yes. Yeah. We had seen, like, on my Disney experience, the wait times were pretty high at studios, like the 15th and 16th, the first 2 days that they were open.
Mm-hmm.
So we were kind of worried about that, but we were there the third day they were open, and the crowds were not bad at all.
Oh, wow. Great.
The longest we waited was, like, 20 minutes for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Oh, wow.
Like, all trip. That was, like, the longest we waited.
So which park, was there a park that had, like, a better experience with all this going on, you think, than the others, or are they all pretty much the same?
I would say all of them were a pretty neat experience. It was neat to have, like, the character cavalcades going through just as a different way to see characters and interact with them. And because the crowds were so light, it seemed like every character that went by, like, you still had an individual, like, interaction with them. So that was cool.
Oh, okay. How was the food in the parks?
Good. I have no complaints with the food. Not everywhere's open,
right?
But anywhere that we went, it was same quality as normal.
All the food stands are open. Is it mostly the restaurants then? Are there pretty much a lot of them are closed, or some of them are closed?
Yeah, it's like some quick services that are closed, and then some like food carts are closed too.
You can still get a Mickey bar if you want it, though. I'm hoping.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We got to have some standards somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Audrey, anything exciting or out of the ordinary happen during this trip that maybe you haven't had happen before? The way everything kind of's happening?
Just besides like the very low crowds, I would say like anything that happened was because like low crowds, but it was neat. Like all the different character interactions for sure, but then also like at restaurant, like sit down restaurants, we noticed like a very good like time with our waiters or waitresses, because there's just not that many people for them to be taken care of, so they made very good conversation and like were just very attentive, which was great.
That's true, because you usually don't have a lot of time to I don't want to say bond with your server, but interact with your server a whole lot, because they're in such a rush to get to all the other tables.
Yeah.
Oh, that's outstanding. Audrey, do you normally park hop? Was it different for you to spend one whole day in a park?
Yes, that was very different. For sure. Like, especially Animal Kingdom, I normally don't make a full day out of that. So it was kind of different, but it was all right. I mean, after we just kind of got over like, well, you're just in one park for a day. It's fine, but it was definitely an adjustment.
Were you able to get maybe more done during this period than than you've ever gotten done before with the crowd so light?
Yeah, absolutely. We could do anything we wanted and like as many times as we wanted. So I just kind of had a goal to like do everything in every park, and we did. And then my brother is more like, he doesn't want to ride the things that he doesn't want to ride. So like on our Magic Kingdom day, he rode Space Mountain like 15 times. So that was crazy. And then on our Animal Kingdom day, he rode Flight of Passage 16 times.
Whoa.
So if that shows you how low the crowds were.
Did you have to get off the ride and get back in line, or did they just let him stay on?
So you have to get off the ride, but like they're sending everyone through a standby line,
Okay.
So that's like quite a line to go through.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But if you've already ridden, once you get off, they'll just send you back through the fast pass line. So it's just like a couple minute
Okay.
line. You don't even have to get like all the way to the exit. They just stop you and say like, are you going again? And they'll just send you back through.
You're like, heck yeah, I am.
Yeah.
The most magical pandemic on earth.
Right.
Audrey, can you share with us some like examples you might have seen of like the social distancing in the park?
Yeah. So just besides like the basic walking around and kind of staying away from people, it was really neat on like all the attractions. Like, for example, like Splash Mountain, like we would get our own log, like even though there's only 3 of us.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much how every ride was. And like, it makes for really cool pictures because you're the only ones in them. So
that would have to be very
neat.
surreal because every time I've always been going, they're like filling all the empty space between you and everybody beside you.
Right.
There'll be no gap. Slide all the way down. And they're like, don't get near anybody. Don't do it. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It was really neat.
How was it? Everything spaced out, just like walking to different attractions as well? Where was everybody pretty respectful of that?
Yes, I would definitely say so. I feel like everyone who was there, like that first week, like just wanted to be there so bad they weren't gonna, try and get away with like breaking any rules. But I did not see any problems as far as like not wearing masks or like people being too close.
They're like, we will do whatever we need to do to keep you open.
Right.
We are tired of being at home.
Yeah.
How was the transportation? I know we talked about the monorails earlier. Did you do any boats or anything like that? How'd those all work?
Yeah. We rode the ferry one time also. And so they had like dots where like per party. So like they'd have a dot where like the 3 of us could stand, and then, 6 or 8 feet away, there'd be another dot for another family. So that's also weird for the ferry to not be like packed in at the end of the night.
Right.
So we did that. And then we also took the Skyliner whenever we stayed at Pop. We took it to Epcot. That I don't feel like was much different than normal because normally there's only one family per gondola. But
that's great that everybody was being respectful of the rules and the protocols that Disney has put in place. Hand sanitizer everywhere.
Yes, hand sanitizer, like some random places, but then definitely before and after every attraction. Like there'd be sometimes I'm like, I just put it on at the end of that one and haven't touched anything by the time I got to the next one.
Right.
But yeah, and then they had some like the hand washing stations throughout the parks also.
A lot of people use those?
I didn't really see them being used a lot, but I saw it a few times.
Okay. It seems like if they could get the hand sanitizer mixed in with an SPF, they might have a winning combination there.
Right.
Purell with SPF 50.
Yeah.
Audrey, you said you were coming from your friend's apartment down there, so you'd have to use the the theme park parking. How'd the parking work?
Yeah. So whenever we first arrive there, it's different because normally you can get there, like an hour plus before the park opens, but they're not even opening the parking lots until like Magic Kingdom isn't opening until like an hour to 50 minutes before the park opens. And then that's pretty much same for Hollywood Studios. I'm not sure with Epcot since we didn't drive there, but Animal Kingdom didn't open their parking lot until like half an hour before the park opened, which was crazy.
Wow. It's
like normally, you're back like in Pandora by the time it's half an hour till the park opens. Right. But and then once you're in the parking lot, they're having you park like every other space. So there's room for people to get out of their cars without being right next to other people.
Oh, that's really nice.
Then throughout the day, they go back and like fill in the empty spots, which is kind of neat.
Were the trams running?
They were not.
Okay. At all the parks, and they didn't have trams running.
Yeah.
So Audrey, would you recommend someone go down during this time and do a theme park vacation?
I would, as long as you can like get over wearing a mask and you're healthy enough to, and you feel comfortable, I would definitely recommend it. I would say Disney's doing a fantastic job, like doing as much as they can, given the circumstances, and I felt very safe there.
Was it difficult for you to wear the mask in the heat? Did you take advantage of any of the mask off stations? What were those called?
Right. Yeah, I would say like whenever you first like got out of your car and put your mask on. It was like so hot, but you just kind of got used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like by time, you've been there a couple hours, it's just normal at that point. But during our day at Animal Kingdom, we did go to one of the relaxation stations and just sit there for a little while, which was nice. It's inside Pizzafari, so that restaurant isn't open right now. It's just a nice air conditioning place. You can go sit down without your mask. So it's neat that they're having those, but I did not find the mask to be like that big of a challenge.
It seems like if you took it off for any length of time, it'd be hard to put it back on. It might just be better to stick it on, keep it on and keep moving.
That's kind of what we found. Like after we would like take it off for a lunch and then put it back on, it's kind of like starting all over. What
kind of mask did you use? Did you use like the paper masks, homemade masks? What did you use?
I used homemade masks.
Any special characters? Any theme?
Did I have any special characters on mine?
Yeah.
I had one with Minnie, and then other than that, I just kind of had some like fun colors that would match my shirts.
Yeah. You got to coordinate. You're on vacation.
Right.
Well, Audrey, thanks so much for joining us. Sounds like you had a great time.
Yes, it was wonderful.
It's probably not something you would do for your first time at Disney, but since you're an expert.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend it if it's someone's very first time, but if you've been and you just want to eat some of your favorite food and ride some of your favorite attractions, just be in the parks again, I would definitely recommend it.
Yes. Awesome. Audrey, thanks so much for sharing this trip with us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Oh, Audrey, thanks again. If anybody has any questions, where can people reach out to you again?
Yeah, my Instagram is @_Audrey Maxwell, or my email is audreym27@gmail.com.
Awesome. I'll put all this stuff in the show notes. How's that sound?
Great.
Awesome. Once again, I'm Tim Scott. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com. If you're thinking of booking a trip, maybe you want to get down there and enjoy some of these non-existent lines almost, look us up over at ResortLoopTravel.com. You've been listening to The Gateway to the Magic. Audrey, wrap the show.
See you, everyone.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoopTravelGroup.com. Resort